everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Not a clickbait video. I went to bed last night thinking I wouldn't have to make a video this Sunday morning. The Roadrunners were down 4-0 when I went to bed. Ended up coming back, losing in overtime, and they clinch a playoff spot. Yes, it's honestly ridiculous. I feel a bit bad being a Coyotes fan and somewhat of a Roadrunners fan that they managed to make the playoffs with these stats. But I guess that's just the AHL. That's how it goes. There's 10 teams in the Pacific, and 7 out of the 10 teams make it. Roadrunners clinch that last spot, 7th place. They will face 2nd place Coachella Valley Firebirds, a first place team. Calgary gets a bye for the first round, so they'll play Coachella, where now Shane Wright, his playoffs ended in juniors early, so Shane Wright might be going to the AHL playoffs to beat out the Roadrunners. I most likely won't make a video if the Roadrunners lose in the first round. It's pretty expected considering, where they're at, 30, 31, and 9. So they won 30 out of 40 games. They played 70 games, .493 points percentage. Like I said, 7th place. Pretty miserable, but, they did it. And as long as you have a chance in the playoffs, they could do some damage. Especially that they've been playing without, Dauphin and Kellerman now. They're on the Coyotes. So they come back down once the Coyotes season is over, and they help bolster the lineup. We got Yannick, who missed 40 games with a foot injury, and his numbers look pretty good. So, the Cavalry might be coming. Prosvetov as well, playing for the Coyotes. Maybe he comes back and puts up some good numbers. For the Roadrunners, goals for, it's over 3 goals per game, not too shabby. Goals against per game, 3.39, along with the goalie numbers, pretty bad. Power play, miserable as well, 16.5, and penalty kill, not bad at 80.5%. We'll go to the goalies. Prosvetov, he's played the bulk of the games, going 16, 13, and 4. Goals against, 3.06, save percentage, and even 900. It's okay. I'm pretty surprised that the next goalie, Tyler Parks, was able to, come in now that Prosvetov was up with the Coyotes for the past month or over a month. And he's been playing pretty solid, 8-7-2, giving the Roadrunners a chance to win, 3.24 goals against average, and an .888 save percentage. Those are bad numbers, but, they're doing it. 8-7-2. So Tyler Parks isn't a prospect. He's a 30-year-old goalie just bouncing around the American Hockey League, ECHL. He's a teammate of David Tendek in the ECHL for the Atlanta Gladiators. So they had Tendek there, Parks there, and even Liam Kirk played a bit for that Atlanta team. Now Kirk went off to Europe to try and get his game back. But yeah, Parks has been the starting goalie lately, holding the fort down, getting them to the playoffs and holding it down. Now Prosvetov will come back, at the end of the Coyotes season, which they only have 2 games left. So, hopefully the experience in the NHL Prosvetov brings back could, put them over the edge in the playoffs. Prosvetov's a bit of a seesaw with the Coyotes, who start off really well, going 3-0, and then the past 3 games, it's been pretty rough for him. But he got the win last night against Anaheim. John Gillies was traded at the deadline away from the Roadrunners. Not sure if anyone caught that. He is now on the Blue Jackets. He went 5-8-2 with the Roadrunners, going to 370 goals against average, which is really bad, and then 878. And then I already mentioned Tendek, 1-3-1, not playing too much, even though his metrics are pretty good. But we saw the same thing with Prosvetov when he started with the Coyotes 3-0. His numbers looked amazing. Now you look at Prosvetov's numbers and they're below, a 900 save percentage. So small sample size for Tendek. He's like our, along with Prosvetov, the only goalie prospects currently playing on the Roadrunners. And not a lot of prospects are really helping out the Roadrunners. Now we'll go to the players, forwards, defensemen. This team is carried by, those AHL type players. We're not being led by our young prospects, exciting young players. They're going to make the jump to the Coyotes. Carcone, I've been down on him all year. I don't see him as an NHL player. I know a lot of fans want him called up to the Coyotes, want him to be the next Bunting or Garland. I just don't see it. To me, he's just an AHL guy, and he's killing it in this league. 31 goals, 53 points, 53 assists, 84 points in 63 games. He leads the league in points, and he's third in goals. He also set single season records for the Roadrunners for most goals and most points. So just like Keller with the Coyotes, where he's 1 point behind Keith Tkachuk for the best single season point totals for Coyotes and their franchise. Carconi is doing the same for the Roadrunners and has eclipsed it and holds the record. We go to Adam Cracknell, another AHL guy, not a prospect. 21 goals, 31 assists, 52 points in 63 games played. We go to D, another one of those AHL guys. 23 goals, 26 assists, 49 points in 66 games. Like I said, just carried by, those bona fide AHL type players. I'm hoping for next year. I was hoping this year, we'd see guys like Smith, McCartney, Yannick really lead this team and get them out of this funk they've been in since, the 2019 season, where unfortunately the season was ended early and they finished top in the Pacific and defaulted to be the Pacific champions because there was no playoffs. Since then, they've been in a funk, missing the playoffs, not playing really well. I was hoping this year would be different, but maybe next year, with 1 year under their belt already, the prospects will be better. I forgot to put Josh Doan's stats up there, but yes, Josh Doan as well. Maybe a full season with the Roadrunners next season. He's played just a couple games. He just went to the Roadrunners maybe 2 weeks ago. Probably played about 4 games. He's got a goal. He scored a goal last night, so I know he's got 2 goals, but don't know his point stat line. So, and then next year, maybe other prospects from the previous drafts come in. Like I said, Langlois is a good defenseman. He's eligible to play for the AHL next year because he's 20 years old. So if you have a player or a prospect in the CHL, the Canadian Hockey League, which encompasses the Western Hockey League, Ontario Hockey League, and the Quebec Hockey League, any prospects in those leagues, you have to be 20 years old to play for the AHL. You can play in the NHL. We saw Gunther and Shane Wright do that. But to play in the AHL, you have to be 20 years old. So it takes a while. Fortunately, Langlois, he was born, really early or really late where he makes the cut. He's 20 years old. So he could start next season with the Roadrunners. But some other good prospects, like I made a video last week, most of them won't be eligible to join the Roadrunners. So maybe there's not a lot of cavalry coming up. We'll see what happens. With a lot of these older guys, you don't know if they're sticking around with the Roadrunners next season. They bounce around all over the place. Like Dauphin has been in and out of the Coyotes farm system for years, it seems. So we'll see what happens. Dauphin, 41 points in 48 games played. Incredible AHL numbers, but just can't put it together in the NHL. To me, Dauphin is what Carconi is. I know Carconi's got a lot of straight line speed, but to me, he doesn't really know what to do other than that. He's fast in a straight line, but in the NHL, doesn't make plays, not too much of a great grinder, no real skill with the puck. I know a lot of people are probably disagreeing with me, but that's just my opinion on Carconi, and it sort of shows that the management is not pulling him up to the Coyotes as much as opposed to Dauphin and D. Kellerman, I'm liking him lately on the Coyotes. He's got 29 points in 58 games played. He'll be another guy coming back down once the Coyotes season is over to help the Roadrunners in that playoff matchup. And then Yannick, like I said, had a foot injury, but 23 points in 30 games played, not too bad. Hopefully, it seems like since he's come back into the lineup for the Roadrunners, they've been energized and playing well. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10 games to clinch that last playoff spot. So hopefully Yannick, get some playoff experience. Guys like Smith too. I expected Smith to be on the Coyotes out of training camp, so I was surprised he started with the Roadrunners and ended up staying on the Roadrunners the whole season, only getting 26 points in 62 games played. Coyotes trade a 4th round pick for Smith. Hopefully, he has a good playoff and comes back next year at next year's camp and could battle for a spot on the Coyotes. I always thought Smith was the better player than McBain. I thought Smith had more goals, but obviously, this year, McBain, just an incredible third line centerman. Like I said last video, he made the single season record for the Coyotes in terms of hits, not even for a rookie, not even for forwards, just hits in a season, full stop. He has the best season in Coyotes franchise history. For a guy who's coming out of college in his rookie year, he's done that feat already. Loving McBain. He's got a little bit of a scoring touch as well. Just, going into this season, I thought Smith was ahead of him in a depth chart. But, it makes sense that McBain was traded for a second, so he's more valuable than Smith, who was traded for a fourth. So maybe that was just my error. McCartney, disappointing for me as well. I was so hyped for McCartney. It seemed like everywhere he went, he was a point per game player and just produces. But on the Roadrunners, don't hear much of him. Only 7 goals in 43 games played. I expected more out of McCartney. Obviously, it seems like he's missed a lot of games. Roadrunners have played 70 games. He's only played 43, and he's not being called up to the Coyotes. So maybe an injury or healthy scratch over there. Then we go with defenseman led by Cam Dineen. We remember Dineen from last season. I don't think he's been called up this season as well. Kolyachonok only called up for 2 games for the Coyotes. So last year we saw so much of Kolyachonok and Dineen. This year, barely seen any of them. They've been down in the Roadrunners the whole season. Dineen, 35 points, 50 games played, pretty good. Soderstrom, his numbers in the AHL aren't like flashy. 21 points in 44 games played. I'm liking how Soderstrom looks with the Coyotes currently. Couple turnovers, maybe pinches too much, but on the power play, I love his skating ability. You could start to see the offensive upside to Soderstrom lately, but the defensive side still needs to work on it. But seems like the coaching staff's giving him the ability to just freewheel with the puck, make plays. He looks like a skilled defender out there, so hopefully he gets better for training camp next year. Kolyachonok, 20 points in 69 games played. Pretty bad. Maybe that's why he's never been called up this season, or he's only played 2 games at the start of the season. And then Kesselring, who was acquired at the deadline, only played 9 games for the Roadrunners. He's been up and down with the Coyotes. He's got 6 points in 9 games, so he's helped bolster the defensive side for the Roadrunners. And yeah, pretty ridiculous. The AHL allows 7 out of 10 teams in a division to make the playoffs, but it is what it is. They make the playoffs. Now, all season they've had to deal with players being called up by the Coyotes. Dauphin, Kellerman, Prozatov, sometimes Carconi. So those guys are going to come back down. Soderstrom, Kesselring as well. They're going to come back down after the Coyotes season, and they'll have a pretty beefed up lineup. The first time they'll have a consistent string of games with a full roster now that the Coyote season is over and the Roadrunners go to the playoffs. So you never know what might happen. They might make an upset. I don't think so. The Coachella team's really good, and if they add Shane Wright, they just get exponentially better with that. So the Roadrunners made the playoffs. It's been a while since I said that, and good luck to them. It's going to be hard. But hopefully it's good experience for these guys, especially the younger prospects. Hopefully they just grab this experience under their belt and come back next year better and try to compete for spots for the Coyotes. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.